Hello dear viewers, a very warm welcome to our channel. It's very good to have you here. In this video, we're going to have a look at top symptoms of a failing common rail diesel injector. Well, the first and most common symptom of a failing common rail fuel injector is hard starting or long cranking. This is where your engine struggles to start. It will take at least multiple attempts to starting. So this could be caused by a leaking fuel injector reducing rail pressure. So the number one symptom of bad common rail fuel injector is hard starting. The second symptom is rough idling. This is when you have unstable RPM at idle. You might be experiencing hunting or surging from your engine. This is when one of the cylinders starts misfiring due to poor spray pattern of the fuel injector. So if one of the cylinder is underperforming, that will cause the RPM of the engine to surge, idle will become rough, and that could be an indication of a failing common rail fuel injector. Excessive black smoke coming from the tailpipe is also an indication of a bad fuel injector. This is where you experience thick black exhaust under acceleration. This is usually caused by a faulty injector that is overfueling the cylinder. There has to be an optimum fuel delivery from the fuel injector. If the fuel injector becomes faulty and supply too much fuel into the cylinder, that will cause excessive black to appear. Or white or gray smoke at startup. This is when there is unburned diesel fuel from your engine. This could be caused by a leaky fuel injector. When the fuel injector is leaking, that will often cause smell of strong raw fuel to come out of the engine. So unburned diesel will generate gray smoke, white gray smoke during startup. Loss of power is also an indication of a failing diesel injector. This is when you have a noticeable lag when acceleration. This is caused by weak or inconsistent fuel injection by any of the fuel injectors. Engine misfire, such as jerking or vibration at specific engine speed, can also indicate a faulty fuel injector. The scan tool will show which cylinder is misfiring. If you use an OBD2 scanner, it will show you the cylinder-specific misfire code. Number 7, increased fuel consumption. This is also very distinguishable indication of a failing fuel injector. 10 to 30% worse mileage without explanation is caused by faulty fuel injector. That is leaking fuel into the cylinder. When fuel is leaking into the cylinder continuously, that is waste of fuel. So that will increase your fuel consumption. 8. When you experience knocking or pinging sound. Metallic knocking from uneven combustion. This is especially audible at low RPM under load. That is also an indication of a bad fuel injector. Fuel inside the engine oil is also indicative of a bad common rail diesel injector. If the oil level rises and smells like diesel, it means there is oil mixed with diesel. This diluted oil will damage bearings over time, so it is a very, very serious problem. This could be caused by leaking fuel injectors, that is leaking fuel directly seeping into the cylinder. And check engine light illuminated on your dashboard could also be an indication of a common rail diesel injector failure. Common codes like P0201, P0208, this is where there is a problem with the injector circuit fault. P0087 is when there is low rail pressure, and P027X is when cylinder contribution is at fault. So check engine light illumination can be an indication of a failing common rail diesel injector. In order to exactly pinpoint what is causing the problem and what is the problem, you have to use an OBD2 scanner in order to identify the fault code. Clogged diesel particulate filter is also a result from a failing common rail diesel injector. Frequent regeneration of DPF or warning of a DPF could be an indication of a clogged DPF filter. This is basically as a result of unburned fuel contaminating the particulate filter. Unburned filter could result from leaky fuel injector, faulty fuel injector that is not delivering fuel properly. So clogged DPF can be an indication of a bad common rail fuel injector. Erratic RPM fluctuation can also happen when there is a problem with one or more of the injectors. Sudden RPM drop or sudden rise, surging of RPM, this could be caused by a faulty fuel injector. This is basically because ECU is struggling to compensate for the bad fuel injector, and that will cause surging of the engine speed. High NOx emission can also be caused by a faulty fuel injector. Failed emission test with high nitrogen oxides. This is basically caused by poor spray pattern that create hotspot inside the cylinders. Hydrolock risk. This is a very severe case. Is also a problem associated with a faulty fuel injector. This is when the cylinder filled with a raw diesel fuel and it prevents engine cranking or crankshaft rotation. This requires removing glow plugs and clearing out that raw fuel. Otherwise, it will lead to severe engine failure, catastrophic severe failure. It could lead to connecting rod bending, connecting rod failure, connecting rod breakage. All those could be caused by a severe hydrolock problem. And finally, 15 metal filings inside the fuel filter can also be indicative of a failing fuel injector. Visible metallic particles, they indicate injector internal parts are failing. So if you happen to notice there are tiny micro metallic components inside the fuel filter, that means the fuel injector is getting degraded. So every time when you suspect the problem with the fuel injector, perform a leak-off test. You can measure injector leak rate and check injector balance rate. This can be done via a diagnostic scanner. Also make sure to inspect the fuel rail pressure. Low pressure indicates leaking injector. And in some cases, you can swap the injector to see if the problem follows the injector or not. Well, that is all we have for you regarding some of the top symptoms of a fading bad common rail fuel injector. If you find this video helpful and if you like what has been presented, please smash the like button. If you are new to this channel, do consider subscribing. Turn on notifications so that you will be the first to get notified whenever we come up with another video. Until then, stay safe.